So I want to kind of backtrack or rethink this whole idea, this notion that I had that my life was boring, and that was one of the reasons why I was not necessarily. I was very hesitant to post and share my life because I felt like, well, it's dull, it's not interesting. The definition of boring. Nobody's gonna want to watch. That kind of thing. And I'm sitting here. I just unpacked a new journal that I'm gonna be using for content creation. And I'm sitting outside in a chair, and there's actually a breeze going by. It's quiet. There's not really much going on. I hear some birds chirping, but for all is it intents and purposes, it's quote unquote boring. It's boring. But I was thinking about it recently about this whole idea of a boring life, and I feel like it is a, dare I say, luxury to have a portion of your life actually feel boring. I think that for a long time, I equated my struggle, all the chaos, the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the confusion, and things like that. I don't think I thought this logically, but I think I equated all of that as excitement. But excitement is not necessarily always a good thing. Excitement is not always a good thing. It's not. Um, And so when I think about luxury and ease and softness, which I still need so much softness, I've really come to terms with this idea that boring, quote unquote boring, well, let's use that word, boring, that's a good thing. Having time in your week that actually feel boring, I am going to start saying that is actually a luxury. When we think about luxury, we think about extravagance, we think about expense, we think about flair, we think about pomp and circumstance, we think about richness and um, just fancy and flashy and, oozing with just, just that money related vibe a lot of times. It's extravagance, it's extravaganza, as they say on RuPaul's Drag Race. But I am really starting to believe that boring can actually equal luxury for me anyway. Because if I'm experiencing a time of feeling bored, it may possibly mean that at that moment in time I'm not feeling stressed out. My blood pressure isn't up, my heart rate isn't up. There's not a lot of noise around me or a lot of flashing screens or a lot of sound and people talking or like just hooting and hollering or um, I don't know, just a whole bunch of things on my to-do list or things like that. So I'm really starting to think of boring in a new way, and I want to continue to do that because maybe the word boring really has gotten a bad rap, and I feel like a big part of that is due to capitalism. It's not hip and cool to be boring. So capitalism tells us that we have to have the next, the latest, the greatest, the most flashiest, the most expensive, the richest, the best experiences, the best travel experiences, the best car, the best homes, the best clothes, the best experiences, the best, those kind of things. And so, obviously, if you want the best, which you're going to want more and more and more and more of to fit this ideal, this narrative that you have in your mind that we're being sold, you're going to keep spending money. You're going to keep buying. You're going to keep consuming. You're going to keep being distracted. And I'm not saying that it's bad to buy and to spend and to have those type of physical extravagances, because trust and believe there will be a time when I upload a video and I'm gonna be like, check out this extravaganza, y'all, get into it. I'm looking forward to that day because I feel like I deserve to have a part of that in my life and to live a certain way. However, I think that the word boring, at least for me, it really had gotten a bad rap to me. And yeah, now I'm really viewing these quiet times, this downtime, It's time to be still. This time where not a whole bunch is necessarily going on. The time of less distraction and less noise, and not too much to do, or not always being entertained, in whatever way I might be wanting at that time. I'm gonna, treat that as a luxury, because we all need pockets of peace. We all need quote unquote moments of boring times in our lives, that we can decompress, so that we can think, so that we can tap back in. So yeah, that's my video for today. I am saying that boring is the new black. Boring is the new luxury. Get into it. Share some of the boring things that you do in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video.